This is Brian, and welcome back to this commentary playthrough of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2. And I think I've taken enough precautions to make sure this should be the final part here. I should be able to just bare-knuckle it through it if I have to. Because what I did is, on this time going through it to get back to Krang, I switched and went with Donatello. Not so much that that mattered, just because I thought I'd use a different one for a change of pace. The color of their ribbons, or whatever those are, at least, the bands. And I also made sure that I didn't get wiped out by any of the bosses or in any of the levels. I do have 5 extra lives to go here. Hoping I can get through Krang with only losing 2 of them. So I have 3 going into Shredder. And we'll see how it goes from there. I'm still going to try to avoid Krang as much as I can and do it the way I was trying to last time. Yeah. Thought that one should have hit him. Yep. Yeah, that combination of the rocket punch arm and then the laser has always kind of gotten me here. Almost 1 life down. There we go. Yeah, I figured I would end up doing at least that much, or taking at least that much damage. Ah. I'd been doing so much better here, I thought, but now it's kind of falling apart. Okay. Alright, I still have 4 extra lives. So the main thing to worry about is just not getting hit by one of those beams from Shredder. Yeah, let's let him come down and split first. Ouch, that was close. I like the way that one was positioned on the other side over there. That's why I kind of got out of my pattern there. Oops. I need to figure out which one's real again. Getting some good hits in on here. Because, yeah, I think you would do more damage if you tried to do the double hit thing instead of drum kicking him, but he seems like he's so hard to avoid damage doing it that way. And this will get the job done eventually. Okay, I think at this point, you won't split anymore after the real one's helmet pops off. So at least that way you can get rid of the clone if you want to. There we go. I think that's it. God, if I had a run like that through it last time, I wouldn't have needed to have another session here. But sometimes it helps to come in a little bit fresher, too. Yep, blew up the Technodrome. Epilogue. Breaks the Foots, mangled the Mausers, and totaled the Technodrome. That's turtle power. But what about the Shredder and Krang? Burned a toast? Vaporized a milkshake? Or escaped to Dimension X? Until we know, none of us can sleep safely in our beds. Or shells. There's the turtle blimp. Yeah, so I mentioned a few of the differences between this and the actual arcade game. For one, there were those two different levels, I think, that were not in the arcade game. The snow one, and then the, like, Ninja Dojo one with the Shogun guy at the end. There were a couple other things I read, though, before that I thought I'd mention. As far as differences in the arcade game, I believe it had more capacity. As far as in the NES one here, we only saw one type of enemy on the screen at a time, ever. I believe the arcade game could actually handle more than that, so you might see two different types. Like you could see a Mauser and a foot soldier on the screen at the same time, maybe? Or just two different colors of foot soldiers. And since it was multiplayer more than just two players, you could have up to 4, I think. The Shredder fight at the end of the game in the arcade game, it would have up to, like, 5, I think? Like, the real Shredder plus 4 clones, or something like that. So, that way you couldn't all just completely gang up, I suppose, on the right one. So, I never made it that far, and I never played with that many people when I was playing it anyway, but that would have been interesting. Yeah, I mean, I think I played it initially on an arcade and a Pizza Hut, but I would have been pretty young at that point, so I wasn't really that good at it yet. Well, not that I'm good at it now, but, you know. And plus, it was a thing where you'd have to keep putting quarters into it, and yeah, my parents weren't gonna give me that much money to keep going through it. I'd be lucky to just get like 50 cents and be like, here, go amuse yourself for a few minutes. So Shredder on the screen, does that mean he's gonna be back? Then it says game over. Almost like I lost, but I didn't. So, yeah, that's it for Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2. Now, to just give a short review, there's not a lot to say. It's a pretty quick game. That's why, I mean, off screen, it only took me like half hour or 40 minutes to get back to Krang each time. Or maybe a little longer than that, but you know what I mean? It wasn't terribly long. Especially as I got a little bit better on repeat playthroughs. I guess I could have put some of that up in video more, but I don't want these things to get too repetitive of that. That seems like the type of thing I'd do more of on a live stream if I ever get to the point where I do those. For now, it's just the videos, and I want to keep those with more fresh content, kind of, instead of just repetitive. at least as much as I can reasonably do it. So, yeah, positives and negatives about it here as far as a review. I think it's a pretty good, fun gameplay, pretty simple beat 'em up. Don't have a lot of different variety of enemies completely, so once you figure out how to do the different moves, you just kind of go. Nice at the background, some of the things you can interact with. That's just an interesting, nice little thing they added in. I know a lot of games have that type of thing, but the levels were never too long that it made it too difficult for you. So that was good. It was, yeah, short enough so that you could get through it in a reasonable amount of time if you were just sitting and playing for a night, or, you know, if you had a weekend afternoon or something. But it was also long enough to make it feel fresh enough to replay again right away. Like some games, if you'd beat it in like 20 minutes, well, yeah, how many times can you just keep beating it over and over again? It takes a really good game to keep you coming back for something like that, I feel. But this one was a pretty good range on length for that. I mean, of course, it could have been longer, but with a type of game like this where you couldn't save it back in the day, yeah, I don't know. Seems about right. Now, as far as difficulty, it's about right. Especially early on, it's not too difficult. You get continues, and you can regain lives by just taking out enemies. I suppose I would call the difficulty good overall, and a positive point. But one thing I would put on there is towards the end, the boss rush at the end did seem to take quite a hike in difficulty, at least for me. Not sure if other people perceive it that way or not, but yeah, I could have done without Krang, especially being so hard. Or even if they made him that hard, it probably would have made it so that you could just continue from Shredder instead of having to fight Krang again. That was the hardest part for me, was the fact that you had to get through both of them. Even though the last time I ended up doing it, if I would have only had 2 extra lives, I would have made it. It was really tight still. And I felt like I really did pretty well against Shredder. At least, considering my past attempts, how I did against him. I thought today went pretty well with that. Wouldn't necessarily say that I'd be able to pull that off again if I tried. So, overall, good music. Good game. Just a thoroughly enjoyable experience. Of the Turtles games, this is the one I'm the most familiar with, because it's the one I had when I was a kid. I know Turtles 3 for the NES is also kind of the same type of thing. And Turtles in Time, I think, is the one most people have the best opinion of, but that's for the Super Nintendo. I played a little bit of it, but I don't think I never owned it myself before, so when I was young, at least. I got it later, so yeah, it wasn't one that I'd played through as many times as this. And Turtles 1 is just a different type of thing. I'll get there eventually to that, but yeah, I prefer this one over 1. 1, there are a few tricks you can take to do it, so yeah, but I'm not going to get into that, I guess. We'll save that for when I actually play that. So, as far as what I'm going to do next in this time slot, and I am so far still, until I get farther caught up, I am just going to keep it on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday again, like I did at the end of this one. And I think I'm going to... Well, actually, I have a few options, and I don't really want to nail it down yet, so it might be a little bit of a surprise when we start back on Monday. I'm either going to do Super Mario World 2, Yoshi's Island, Mega Man 6, or Turtles 1 for the NES. I'll do all of those eventually anyway, but that's just the ones that I have at the top of my list right now for these type of games. Anyway, I'll stop rambling now. So, hope you enjoyed the playthrough, and I hope you come back and keep watching more. If you did, please hit the like button and comment or subscribe, and we'll catch you next time.